All right, welcome everybody to Crown Council's live stream. I am Stuart Anderson, as you can see, we've already got a full house. This is awesome.
We do.
Welcome everybody. I've got Steve with me. What's up, Steve? Welcome.
Hey, good day. I'm coming from Crown Council Central today.
That's
in
right.
Salt Lake City, Utah.
It might look like he's far away, but he's 10 feet away from me.
I'm right here. Good to be here. Where we had the annual event just a few weeks ago.
Welcome back.
Good to be here.
Very good. Then we got Lane Anderson. Welcome, Lane, from Prospective Marketing.
Hey, good morning. Good to be with you.
Great to have you. And then Blake Hadley's coming to us from My Social Practice. What's up, Blake?
Hey, everyone.
Glad to have you on.
Yeah.
And then we'd love to welcome the Just for Grins team and Tanya Bailey. Greetings.
From Keller, Texas.
Hey, before we're going to talk to Just for Grins first, but before we do so, if this is your first time joining us, every Thursday at 11 o'clock Mountain Time, the Crown Council community meets here on what we call our Crown Council live stream. This is where we interview the members of Crown Council. We interview leaders in the group, team members in the group, resource partners, businesses, everything that connects us together as a community. This is our opportunity to gather once a week and just share some of the biggest wins and success stories. And so we are here today with a very specific purpose to talk about marketing, to talk about some things that you can be doing in your practice to grow and build patience. That's why we have Lane and Blake with us. But we also wanted to welcome our incredible team, Just for Grins, who are going to share a bit about what they're doing in real life, things that are going on in their practice. And I mean, we might as well toot your horn. I mean, you guys crushed Smiles for Life this year. Absolutely. So fun. There were a couple group practices that raised more than you, but you really were the second highest finishers in all of Crown Council for raising money for Smiles for Life. So
Awesome.
Very good. Tanya, will you introduce that team to us and tell us a little bit about where you are today?
Sorry, were you talking to me, Stuart?
Yes, Tanya, do it. Will you introduce them?
Talking to you, Tanya.
I didn't hear you. Yeah, so I am super excited to be coming in from Keller, Texas. With Just for Grins. They have been practicing here for about 14 years in their community, and they are in their almost 1-year-old brand new building that has more operatories than I can count. They have been an amazing practice and actually have joined Crown Council and TOPS all the way back at the beginning of establishing their practice. Yeah. And like you said, we actually just celebrated their Smiles for Life
victory. We'll call it a victory.
Exactly. That was super exciting. So you've got Dr. Kristen Angwin here, Dr. Jonathan Angwin, and then their amazing practice administrator, Laura. And there's 37 more people behind me. We've got
That's your team.
a adult general dentist, a pediatric general dentist, an orthodontist, a host of hygienists and assistants and front office. This is one amazing team.
Very cool.
One of my favorite places. So maybe Jonathan, Kristen, whoever you want. Our topic today is going to be all about marketing, and you all dominate Keller, Texas. And I'm going to tell one story on you, and then I'm going to ask you to share your experience here. But one of the stories that I tell about your practice everywhere is just a few years ago, Kristen, you were voted top pediatric dentist in Keller, Texas, and which was such a huge victory. And then you got a complaint filed against you with the Texas State Board because I guess the only other pediatric dentist in town complained because I think you're not board certified pediatric dentist, right? Something like that. And so you can correct me on the details if I'm off here. And so, but this was a citywide vote. So this was the local newspaper that runs this, where everybody gets to vote on their favorite business in each category. And you got voted #1 pediatric dentist. So you had to explain that to the Texas State Board that you did not do that yourself. It was the people. The people voted you number one, and I think you recused yourself from the voting in future years, right? Because you don't want to make the neighbors mad. But did I get all the details right? Was that about right?
Close. Yes, very, very similar. We won again the next year, and I had to.
You had to decline the recognition, but I thought that was just a huge testament to the reach and the impact that you continue to have in your town. When the people vote you number one is always awesome. So you're in your brand new building now, celebrating a year. And this was one of my favorite things as you were building your building. This was a marketing idea that I thought was brilliant. I've never seen anybody do this. Would you tell everybody about your open house, that your first open house that you did before you were anywhere near having the finish out done? I thought this was just a brilliant idea. So will you share that with us?
Yeah, absolutely. We, during our construction phase, we still had concrete and just beams across the walls very, very early on, but we wanted to engage our staff, but then also our community and our patients, and help them feel invested in the building that we were creating and have them be a part of it. So we invited them via social media and emails to have them come join us in our building for writing on the walls and on the concrete. So they wrote scriptures, they wrote encouraging motivational quotes and things on the walls that would encourage us. And we know that those are present underneath where we're working every day.
Cool.
Steve joined us and he wrote.
Yes, I did. In fact, one of the places that I wrote in your office is right behind Dr. Jonathan's head. It's on the back wall back there. There's I'm a 10 written on the sheetrock behind the finished walls. And I also have my own treatment room because I wrote on one of the floors of the treatment room. So I feel like I own a piece of that building because behind the walls and on the floors is my writing. So, and there's some other choice little pictures that were left by some family members that came along with me as well. So I just thought that was such a brilliant idea and so fun. So
Did you take your own can of spray paint, Steve, or what'd you do?
Well, no, colors were provided. I mean, like they had markers and all kinds of stuff you could choose from, paint and everything. It was such a great idea. So big fans, and congratulations on your Smiles for Life success. Huge contribution, and huge contribution to the community. And if I had to hold up a model of how to build a practice that dominates a town, no question that Just for Grins owns Keller, Texas. So congratulations to the whole team on everything that you continue to do. It's just every time I drive by your building, I salute. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great testament. Okay, Stu, do we have time for Ask a Coach?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's ask
All right,
Tanya.
so
We'll
Tanya
ask Tanya one
Bailey.
question. Let's do it.
We have Tanya Bailey, who is one of our top coaches, and she's with the whole Just for Grins team today, coaching and training. That's why they're on. So this is a double benefit here. So Tanya, here is the question for the day is, how do you respond to the patient who says, I want to see what my insurance will cover first? In other words, they're implying that they want a pre-estimate or a pre-authorization before they agree to having any work done. So what do you say when the patient says, I want to know what my insurance will cover first?
Well, first of all, I just have to say, I love any kind of question like that, because we always know that it's showing interest and that they're ready to make a decision. And so in the event a patient were to ask that, that's where I'm going to use our overcoming objections formula, which is really all about asking another question. And so I would probably say something like, well, Steve, it sounds like you want to make sure that you're able to maximize your insurance savings. Am I on track with that?
That's right, because my insurance covers 100%. No, I'm not.
Well,
Yes, I want to maximize my benefits, Tanya.
fantastic. Well, I'm really excited. May I share with you what we've already done to provide a complimentary benefits analysis?
Ooh,
Nice.
tell me more.
Well, so the great news is we do have some other patients that have this particular policy, just like you. And I'd be happy to go over and share with you what we have found that they have done for those patients in a similar situation. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Got it.
Excellent.
And then I would roll right into my financial arrangements, easy pay, and go over options and help my patient maximize insurance savings.
Love it. Now, added to that, and that is picture perfect. If the patient presses you on the, like, I want to know, I want a pre-authorization, I want to know exactly what they're going to pay for, which you can't ever find out. Even a pre-authorization is not a guarantee. So how do you explain that so we can move forward and that doesn't become an obstacle?
Yeah. So Steve, can I share with you what we know about a predetermination of benefits?
Okay.
So what we know is it's actually not a pre-authorization. It's really going to share the information that we've actually already found. They're going to share in that what they cover and on a particular procedure. And on the top of it, when it comes back in big, bold, large type font, it actually states it's not a guarantee of coverage or benefits.
Okay.
And so with what Dr. Angwin recommended today regarding that tooth that was hurting you, and you said you wanted to get out of pain, my concern would be delaying 6 to 8 weeks while we wait for something that's not even a guarantee could put you at greater risk. Would it make sense to go ahead and get started?
Makes sense to me now that you put it like that. That's
Well,
beautiful.
The Just for Grins team, because we just trained on urgency formula. So they set me up for success. Thank you, team.
Nice. Very good. Excellent. Thank you, Tanya, for the words of wisdom and the coaching. And thank you, team, Just
Thanks,
for
team.
Grins. I can feel the energy coming from Keller, Texas. So thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
All right. Well, we have lunch waiting, so we're gonna.
Okay,
All
enjoy.
right.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Very cool. Nice. What a great team, man. And they've raised over 160,000 for Smiles for Life in just 3 years. They are committed to
That's
doing
awesome.
good. And what a great practice. So,
That if you're ever, Keller is just is between Dallas and Fort Worth. And anybody watching, if you ever are traveling through the area, that office is worth a stop.
Very
It's amazing. Place.
Hey, Steve, let's move forward. We've got our two. They are very patient, very good, patiently waiting. We're grateful to have these two marketing experts with us. We'll turn the first kind of segment over to Lane. He's going to share his 7 ideas on how to grow your practice, get more patients. Now, in the next 45 minutes, we'll share 21 ideas that you can walk away from to help you increase and better your dental marketing. So, Lane, we'll turn the time over to you, and you do your thing. I know you've got some slides, but we're grateful to have. There it comes. All right, Lane's screen is on. Very good.
Love it.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Stu. Great to be with you all. Want to just share with you some tips for making your Google business profile work harder. Heard that there was some interest in this. And let me just share with you, first of all, you think about the process that a consumer goes through before when they research down to the time that become a patient. They basically have 5 decisions to make to get to that endpoint. They go search, they visit your website, they then decide to contact you, they need to follow through and come in and see you, and then they need to come in and get that treatment plan and then decide to move forward with treatment. And so there's a lot of decision making that goes on, and we look at that as kind of a conversion funnel. There's basically 3 things that have got to happen. They've got to be visible, you've got to be convincing enough that they want to contact you, and then you got to make the decision to convert, for them to convert and move forward. And so in the process of all of that, when we look at the Google Business Profile, it's something that really affects all three of those things. Particularly important for visibility, but very important in convincing them to move forward. They look at the reviews and see what's going on there. And then they're going to have those things in mind when they make the decision whether to move forward. So very important. And the things we're going to talk about, Blake and I are going to talk about today, 98%, a recent study, 98% of consumers search online for local businesses, and 77% said that they search once or more per week. So a lot of activity that's going on there, a critical place to be present and visible. And there are many places that will go to search, and it's important in your marketing to be doing a number of things, multiple things. Your search is important, social media is important, doing things within your practice is important, and other opportunities. But of those, Google is a particularly important place that people go to get information when that's what they're trying to do. And Google's used by 87% of the people. They said they used it to search local businesses in the last 12 months. And they cite Google as a place where there's a high trust factor with Google with regards to healthcare. 66% of the people said that they trust that as the first place to go for health information. So critically important. And what that all says is that treating your Google Business Profile, you ought to treat it like a second website. It's that important. There are a lot of new content opportunities that have expanded, which we won't have a chance to get into today, all of them, but it can also work in synergy with your search engine optimization and your pay-per-click advertising, and reviews are a critical portion of all of that. So with that in mind, let me share with you 7 tips that'll help make your Google Business Profile work harder, and particularly ranking well so that people can see you. One of the things we found that has made one of the biggest impacts on how well you show up in that map pack at Google with those 3 listings is the primary category that you select. You have an opportunity within your listing to go and pick a primary category, and it shows up right here underneath your star rating. So you can be a cosmetic dentist, you can just mention dentist, you can be a dental implant provider, you can provide emergency dental services. There are a number of things that you can do, but what you pick will have a big impact on how you rank. And here's an example of one practice that wanted to show up as a dental implant provider. It was their primary category. And this shows you how they rank within 2-mile increments of their office. When you search for dentist in that city, they were in the center here. See that they didn't rank as well as they did for dental implants in their city. A huge number of top 3 rankings within that area because they picked dental implants provider as their primary category, and that was the most important thing to them to rank for. So being thoughtful and intentional about what category you use can make a big difference. Now, there are a whole bunch of categories that you can pick, but in addition to that primary one that shows on your listing, you can pick additional 9, up to 9 more that are listed as your secondaries. And so being thoughtful about that and including those on your listing, even though those may not all be visible to the consumer, they might be helpful in getting you to rank for those particular services. Now, a related tip with that is take advantage of the fact that if you're a multi-dentist practice, and you have more than one dentist, you'll have a practice listing, and you might also have a practitioner listing for each of the dentists that's in the practice. So you can strategically, as this practice did, pick one primary category for your practice and maybe a second category for one of the dentists, and that'll help expand your visibility for a variety of listings. Now, there are other things that also impact your visibility for your Google Business Profile. There are some things you can control. The keywords that you use in your practice name have an impact on it. This is one you have to be careful of, because Google is very sensitive about stuffing keywords in that title that you use for your practice. But if you happen to have important keywords in your practice name, such as, city cosmetic dentistry, that can help you. Or if you have a practice name and then a kind of a subtitle that's in your logo and part of your practice name, where it might say cosmetic, implant, and general dentistry, you can incorporate that also into your local listing. And we have seen that help with your rankings, but you do have to be careful with that one. Organic optimization of your website has also been shown to have an impact on your rankings. So there are some things you can control. There's some things you can't really control, which are distance from your office to the location of the searcher. Those rankings are very location sensitive, and some things like that. But these are things you can control that are worth giving some attention to. Now, here's tip 4, expanding your photos and videos on your local listing. There was an interesting study that was done a few years ago on all local listings, and they tested local listings that had 100 or more photos and compared them looked at the activity on that listing compared to local businesses that had fewer. And they found that those that had 100 or more photos, you can see the huge difference that made in terms of actions on their website, either visits to the website or direct requests or calls, and how significant that was. 520% more calls in practices that had 100 more photos or businesses, and 1,065% more clicks compared to those that only had one photo, and 71% fewer calls, 65% fewer clicks. Well, we were curious about how this played out in dentistry specifically. So we did our own test among our own doctors, and we took the top 10 dentists that averaged 66 average photos on their listing, and we compared it to the bottom 10 dentists that had on average about 7. And you can see that there was nearly twice as much activity on the local listings among the dentists that had more photos on their listing. So it creates engagement, it creates interest and activity on your listing, and it's worth investing some effort in those. So there are a lot of things you can use to create a good set of photos, and they ought to be good quality photos. That's important. But photos of your team, of the doctors, the office inside and outside, patient photos with testimonials. We found a great little thing that you can do where you can take a picture and on your website and post a short 2-line testimonial of it. Take a screenshot of that photo, after photo, with the testimonial, and put that on Google Business Profile. And then you've captured not only the visual, but also the testimonial that goes with it. And then things that you've done in the community and doing good, charitable efforts that you've done. So a lot of things you can do to put good quality photos that are going to be interesting and create engagement. Tip number 5, just adding videos. This is an interesting new expansion opportunity. Google's been allowing videos for some time on your Google Business Profile, but just recently Google Maps has started featuring more of those videos, and they need to be about 30 seconds in length. That's the limit, they say. We have found prior to this, we could get away with longer videos, but more recently they've become stricter about that time limit. So use that to good advantage. That's a great way to share some testimonials or hearing from the doctors about specific services or introducing the practice. It's a great way to create some engagement. Tip 6, grow your reviews. You may be aware that new reviews are highlighted on your listing, and so it's a great way to call attention to recent reviews, and they keep those on for about 30 days. These reviews do help your rankings in Google Business Profile. It's not exactly a linear relationship where more reviews necessarily directly correlates to a higher ranking. But what it does show, and we have seen in spades, is that having reviews and a good quantity of reviews really does affect your rankings. And more importantly, it helps your conversions. As people see those, they're learning about your practice. And we have found, as we've started tracking the traffic that's coming from those Google business profiles for the last few years. 20 to 70% of the leads we can trace back to people who have been on that Google business profile and either gone to the website from there or call practice. So it is a tremendously valuable part of your marketing strategy to make sure that that content is full and that you've got some good positive reviews there. And as you look at how people process those reviews, in a recent study that was just published in the last week, 85% of those consumers using reviews said they look at the star rating. 76% said that they were impacted by the rating for that business was higher than others, the competitors, but recency was almost as high. They want to know that the people that came in yesterday are just as impressed as the people that came in a year ago. And of course, then they look at the quantity of reviews as well. But important that getting those reviews is an ongoing, regular part of your practice, putting those in all the time. And just at a good, steady rate is important to Google as well. Tip number 7, respond to the reviews. And Google likes to see that interaction between the practice and their patients. And it provides, especially importantly, a window to your relationship with your patients. And people who read those responses have an idea of how you interact with your patients and what kind of experience they're likely to have in your practice. So make sure when you respond to those reviews that they're personalized. You have to, of course, keep HIPAA in mind and make sure that you're not saying anything in your response that they haven't mentioned in the review. But here is what I would consider the gold standard for responding to reviews. And that this doctor actually responds to every patient. Dr. Ron Massey responds to every patient review that comes online. And I don't know that that's possible in every practice, but let me give you kind of a hierarchy of ideal ways to do this. This is certainly the gold standard. The second best is to have somebody within the practice that can respond to those reviews, have some insight into the patient, what might be there. The third best is maybe hiring someone else that will respond to those and make sure they're interesting and varied responses to those patients. The fourth best is using an autoresponder, which is available with some review tools where they just automatically post a response. Those are not ideal because they often are replicated and start showing the same response to reviews, but better than doing nothing at all. So anyway, that's an important strategy that can really provide some convincing power, some window to your relationship with the patient, and also reflects positively with Google because they love to see that interaction. I'm going to give you a bonus tip today, and that is to take a look at Apple Maps. It's pretty much been a navigational tool, but they've just recently opened Apple Business Connect, which is a new opportunity to provide more content on your listing. So you can provide a description and photos and offers, a lot of content that wasn't really possible in the past. So it looks like it's poised to become more of a discovery resource, not just a navigational way of helping searchers. So something else that you might want to take a look at with regards to local. So if we don't get a chance to answer any questions that you might have, feel free to contact me. Be happy to help with any other questions that you might have with regards to that. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Lane. Thank you for systematically providing us numbers. That's how I like to learn. Makes it a lot easier. So very good. All right, cool. Grateful for you. Thankful for everything that you contribute, not only to Crown Council, but obviously today. So great tips. We'll have Blake Hadley join us next. He's going to share from My Social Practice, and we'll turn the time over to Blake for 15, 20 minutes to share his tips with us. Blake, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. There we go. Let's do it.
Let me share my screen here.
Okay. Nice.
You see that okay?
We got it.
All right. Well, thanks, Lane, for those 7 tips. Those are awesome. So important to rank high in Google, and Lane does an awesome job at that. Mine are going to focus a little bit more on social media and a little bit about your website, but these were my 7 digital marketing ideas that I think you should consider, especially this year. You know, things are always changing so much in digital marketing, so we really try to stay on the forefront of what's happening. And so as I thought about what I could offer and suggest to you, these were my 7 ideas. My first thought is, I know this is something you probably hear all the time, but we're always so surprised how many websites are outdated, especially in the dental industry. So this year might be a good year to think about updating the design, usability, and the compliance of your website. At My Social Practice, we really try to look at the trends of, design trends and what's going on on the web. So here's some of the designs that we've done for our clients. Your site really needs to be well designed and modern. If it looks like your website is outdated, people might think that reflects on what your dentistry is too. So make sure you think about designing, having your site well designed and very modern. The ability to chat or text from your website. When people visit websites now, some people fill out the contact form, but a lot of people like to have the instant gratification of being able to chat with someone at your practice right in the moment, or at least be able, a pop-up that sends a text, or the practice can text them back. We know that people like to communicate through text now, so giving that option is really helpful. It, of course, needs to be responsive for mobile. This is something you've heard for many years, but be sure that it looks great on a mobile and on desktop. Make sure you have a site that's built on a platform that can bring in integrations, whether it's scheduling, online forms, payments. WordPress is a great platform for most websites to be able to do that. There are some other great ones out there, but this is important too, so that people can have more options right from your site. Make sure your site is HTTPS secure, and also that it's HIPAA compliant. A lot of practices don't think about HIPAA compliance when it comes to their website. There are a few things that you need to think about. Just briefly, this can be a whole discussion, but make sure the notice of privacy practices are on your homepage, a link to that. You need to include info if someone wants to issue a PHI complaint. You need to have secure forms that people fill out, and then you need to have an encrypted and secure site. Again, I won't go into too much detail about that, but it is something to think about when you hire someone to build your website. And then you need to have consistent content being posted. Google likes it when your site is active, not just static. You may have only updated your site years ago. And so if your site just continually has new information on it, Google crawls that information, which is important. And then, of course, it needs to load fast. There's a site called GTmetrix that you can test out how fast your website loads, and it gives you some statistics for that. But people want a fast loading website. They don't like to wait very long. Just one thing from My Social Practice we're offering right now is $2,023 off of the setup of a brand new website. This is being offered until March 1st. We would love to build you a new website if you feel like this is your year to do that. My idea number 2, create more unique and branded online content. Okay, so at My Social Practice, we're always trying to think of ways to help you create more content to put on social media or on your website. And the best type of content is unique content. There are a lot of agencies out there, including ours, that will help you put content on your website, on your blog, and on social media. But there's a good, better, and best, and I want to explain that to you. So a good solution is just to have something posted to your website. At My Social Practice, we can provide blog content, but that same blog content could be posted to multiple people's website, which isn't bad. It's good to show that you're still active, but there is a better solution. And we can also do this as well, is to have good content, but also mix in a little bit of customization. So for example, this would say, Dr. Jones explains that TMD can be caused by bruxism, joint structure, stress, etc. Or if there's some quotes within some general text from the actual doctor or from a team member, that's better content than just the same content that are on other people's website. And of course, the best type of content that you could be putting to your website or to a blog is completely unique content, interviews with team members, actual words that the doctor writes. This is, of course, the best type of content that you can be doing. The problem that we run into is that most dental practices don't have the time or the wherewith to write this content. Now, over the 13 years that I've been working with practices, I've probably only seen a handful of dentists that send us unique content consistently, just because it's hard to do that, right? So most practices are okay with this kind of better solution, something that's helping them rank a little bit better on their website, that's keeping them consistent and keeping them active. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about that's happening right now, and we haven't figured out exactly how this is going to help dental practices, but we've been trying to think, is there a place in between this better and best where practices can still post unique content, but it won't take as much time? And many of you may have heard of this, that's all the buzz right now, called ChatGPT. It's by a company called OpenAI. And basically, if you haven't heard of this, the short of it is this is a very, very sophisticated chatbot. It's trained by artificial intelligence, and it can generate human-like text based on a given prompt. So to explain this, I just want to show this little video by Ryan Reynolds, who used ChatGPT to write an ad for Mint Mobile.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds, owner of Mint Mobile. We're always looking for ways to save you money. So this year, we're kicking things off with an ad that I created using ChatGPT, the AI technology. This is what I asked it to write. I said, write a commercial for Mint Mobile in the voice of Ryan Reynolds. Use a joke, a curse word, and let people know that Mint's holiday promo is still going, even after the big wireless companies have ended theirs. This is what it wrote. Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here. Eerie. First of all, let me just say Mint Mobile is the but here's the thing. All the big wireless companies out there are ending their holiday promos, but not Mint Mobile. We're keeping the party going because we're just that damn good. Give Mint Mobile a try. And hey, as an added bonus, if you sign up now, you'll get to hear my voice every time you call customer service. Just kidding, that's not really a thing. And stay classy, everyone. That is mildly terrifying, but compelling.
So basically, you can tell this chatbot to write content for you. And so I tested it out, thinking about how I could use this for a dentist. I told it to write me a blog post about gum disease as written by Dr. Holt from Holt Dental. Include West Jordan, Utah in the post 4 times, which is where they practice. And within seconds, it wrote a whole blog post for me. As a dentist in West Jordan, Utah, one of the most common oral health issues I see in my patients is gum disease. And it continues to explain. It included bullet points for common signs and symptoms of gum disease. And at the end, it said, at Holt Dental, we are dedicated to providing our patients in West Jordan, Utah with the highest quality dental care. And then it asked people to schedule an appointment with them. And then I said, give me 3 more titles for this post. And within seconds, it gave me 3 more titles I could use. And I said, write this post as a social media caption. And it wrote a complete caption with hashtags in it. Now, I'm not saying that you should do this necessarily yet. They still have found that there's some errors in the content. It's not 100% accurate yet, but this might be a good starting point for you to be able to create custom content for your practice, and you can edit it how you'd like. It's a good tool for brainstorming, and who knows where it's going to go. With post graphics for social media, there's also a good, better, and best. A good solution for Father's Day would be to post a general graphic about Father's Day, maybe with a stock image. A better solution would be maybe to customize it with your colors and your logo. And of course, the best solution would be to actually post a photo of the doctor, father, and his kids as a personalized photo, or a graphic like this with a photo of the dentist. Again, it's hard to come up with content, to remember to take photos in the practice. So a lot of practices are okay with this better solution, which is still a good solution to show that you're active online. But I wanted to see, is there a mix here where we can find that it's easier to create a graphic without taking much time? And I wanted to show you this AI technology is also starting to develop graphics. And I went in here and I said, make a social media post wishing happy Father's Day to a dentist. And this DALL-E, which developed by the same people as Chat GPT, created this graphic for me, which is a little scary, kind of weird. It doesn't really work with text very well. And then this other platform called Midjourney that creates graphics, it made these graphics for me. So maybe, again, it's a good brainstorming tool to think of graphics, but there's always that human element that you need probably to create graphics like this. But there are some amazing things that AI art is doing. We actually created an account called Dental AI Art on Instagram. Feel free to follow us. We're kind of messing with it to see what kind of art it creates. But again, we have an amazing graphic design team that helps practices create these graphics as well, just to have that human element in images. All right, number 3, and I'll go fairly quickly in these last few here. You need to have a short form video strategy these days, meaning using TikTok, Instagram Reels, and perhaps YouTube Shorts. A short form video is really popular. When it comes to Instagram, it's being favored on the Explore page. It's being favored in search. It's being favored in people's feeds. They're getting more likes and more engagement. They've found that Reels, these short form videos, get 22% more engagement than photos. And they're just reaching more people because Instagram is pushing it more to more people. So here are just a few ideas that we have seen from dentists that you could start messing with in your practice. Capturing a reaction.
Oh my gosh! I have teeth! These look so good! I don't.
Answering some FAQs that you hear all the time.
Hi guys, my name is Mackenzie. I'm a general dentist here in Calgary, Alberta, and these are answers to questions I get literally all the time. My office is Confluence Dental in Inglewood. I am the only dentist here right now, and I am the owner. Yes, we are accepting new patients. Feel free to book online. We aren't currently hiring, but if you're interested in a position, you can always...
Maybe showing a procedure quickly. I like how you can cut videos and do time lapses to show a longer procedure in a very short period of time.
This is how dentists clean your teeth. Using the flavored paste to get rid of stains. We can also use pumice.
Before and afters, it's easy to create a transition from a before video to an after video with some fun music over the top.
I'm sipping low key at Onyx, find a rider. I get those goosebumps every time you come around, you ease my mind, you make it.
So there's just a few ideas. We have hundreds of ideas to help dentists specifically with this. But consider short form video in your marketing plan. Number 4, being a creator by building a personal social media brand. This is something that I recommend to some dentists. I think it's something to consider, even though it's not for everybody. I think some people like to can relate better with a person rather than maybe a practice brand, even though I think that all practices should build a practice brand on social media. Here's an example, Park Ridge Dentist. This is their practice's Instagram account. You can see it's mostly about the culture and about their team. But this doctor from this practice decided that she wanted to build a personal brand as well. And she wanted to focus on questions that moms have about their kids' oral health. And so she makes videos all the time about how she helps her kids, brush their teeth and take care of their teeth and their gums. And she's built a big following, over 10,000 followers on this account. And this can in turn help her practice as well by building a personal brand. And so we're seeing this a lot right now. A lot of dentists are building these personal brands. And so it's something that you might want to consider. I think it could really help you in the long run. Examples of them, just, little reels that they make and TikToks that they can make. You can see they show themselves a lot rather than just what's going on in the practice.
One area that's
Number 5, collaborate with micro-influencer patients. I always recommend to practices, if they want to start with influencer marketing, meaning working with people who have larger followings on social media, to start with their patients. Think about what patients that you have already in your practice that might have some influence in your community or might have a little bit of a following. So maybe in your next team meeting, ask your team if they know anybody that are patients that have a little bit of a following. These could be athletes, podcasters, reporters, photographers, bloggers, musicians, stylists, or makeup artists. These are professions that try to get a following on social media. And then reach out to one of those patients and offer them maybe some free services or a discount on services in return for them posting about you on social media. So this is a quick example. This is actually my cousin. She lives in Arizona and she's a photographer, and she has a following of over 3,000 followers on her Instagram account. Well, the doctor realized this and knew that she's just a fun, influential person, and reached out to her and said, hey, I know you've been wanting to get some veneer work done. I will do that for free for you if you do some posts about me and tag me on social media. So she did a couple tags or a couple posts. Let me just show you a little video that shows her reaction when she first sees her veneer work done. And then she just said, I ugly cried, Dr. Harmon nailed it, and then tagged the doctor. Well, I asked my cousin how this worked for the doctor, and she said, Blake, I got so many direct messages just from my couple of posts. And she said, everybody was interested. Everybody was asking me, what my experience was, how much it cost, did it hurt, all these different things. And rather than even going to the doctor to ask the questions, they were asking me. And I actually followed up with her just recently about this. And she said that the doctor has had over 30 new cases done that started with her. So a few people saw her post and then they posted about it. And in total, over 30 new cases have been done just because the doctor decided to take a chance with her and give her some free work in exchange for posts. So it's incredible what influencer marketing can do these days. Scott Cook, the co-founder of Intuit, said a brand is no longer what we tell the consumer it is, it's what consumers tell each other it is. My last 2 ideas, you can do this same type of thing with small businesses. Just find small businesses that have a little bit of a following in your local community and a similar target market that you're going for: clothing boutiques, restaurants, toy stores, coffee shops. Go check out what their following is, how many followers they have, and then work with them in a way to collaborate, maybe with a little giveaway, buy a gift card at that local restaurant and run a little giveaway on your account, and just talk with the owner and figure out ways that you can share content and benefit from each other's following. And so that their followers can follow you and your followers can follow them. And then my last, number 7, is being a giving practice. And this goes back to, we talked with Just for Grins and what they've done with Smiles for Life. We have seen over the years that practices that are giving do the best when it comes to digital marketing. The content that they post, they get more engagement. People like to work with businesses and practices that are doing good in the community. And so Smiles for Life through the Crown Council is an amazing opportunity to do that. And we have had a chance to work with the Smiles for Life Foundation and develop all the marketing ideas for this. I actually threw these in really quick. This is Just for Grins, and them donating a check to the local charity through Smiles for Life. And you can just tell, just talking with them today, just the difference that it makes in their team. And we see that as well through marketing. So I highly encourage you to be a giving practice this year. And those are my 7 ideas.
Nice, Blake.
Here's my contact information here.
Very
if you
cool.
need.
What was the QR code right before? Was that to connect with you or your My Social Practice?
Oh yeah. If you would like to do a little lunch and learn, we will buy your team lunch. And all you have to do is just scan this QR code here, fill out the form. We want to buy your team lunch, and then I will give you a custom presentation for your practice. I'll check out everything that you're doing online, and give you over Zoom, give you a custom presentation for your practice.
Dang, that's
about
awesome.
marketing.
Very
So,
cool.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Sign
Blake.
me up, Blake.
Yeah,
All
sign me
right.
up.
Send me
do it.
lunch.
Let's do it.
Very cool. Thank you, Blake.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hey, we'll turn the rest of the time over to Steve. I know that he's
All
got
right.
his 7 tips ready to go.
All right, to wrap it up. So
Yeah, wrap it up.
here's kind of take everything that Lane and Blake have shared. And what these are quickly are habits of the most successful marketing teams in dentistry. And I'll run through these really quickly, and then we'll give you a tip on how to put all this into place. So number 1 is to have a written plan. So it's nice to have great ideas. It's even better to have a written marketing plan that says, this is what we do. This is how we do it. Our preference is to have a 12-month written marketing plan. So what are the things you do all year, but what are the things you do at specific times of the year? Like, as Blake mentioned, the Smiles for Life whitening campaign, that's part of the whole marketing strategy. And that runs, we start the campaign in March, we run it through the end of June, and there's things all year that you can do to build up to that. So specific things. So a 12-month written marketing plan. Number 2 is one person who's accountable on the team for driving the plan. Now, everybody's going to participate, but someone needs to have that as part of their job responsibility, is to drive the marketing and new patient effort. Number 3. All right. So these are what I call developing your daily marketing discipline. So there are certain things we know that work that you have to do on a regular basis. So for example, asking for reviews. Lane's talked about the importance of reviews. That's a daily discipline. So that's a habit of the very best marketing teams. So there's a number of those where, what are your regular marketing habits that you do on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis that contribute to your success. Another one that Lane mentioned that's a habit is always respond to reviews. So get on there every day. Every time you have a review, you respond. That's a habit of a great marketing team. Number 4 is establish what we call your ESP strategy. And that stands for Everybody Search Plan. So marketing is everybody's responsibility, not just one person, but everybody gets to participate. So outline what your ESP strategy is and what's expected from every member of the team to contribute to the marketing effort. Number 5 is close the back door. So if you have not watched this week's skill of the week, that is a must. It's one of my favorites that has all about closing the back door, which is, it doesn't do any good to bring patients into the practice if they're just going to go right out the back door and not come back. So the key to this is always watching your pre-appoint and reappoint rate. So what percentage of your patients are pre-appointed, have a next appointment scheduled, and how many patients today reappointed to come back before they left. Those are some of the most important marketing numbers that you can measure, because they make sure that you're keeping in the practice what you bring into the practice. Number 6 is we know that dentistry continues to be a word of mouth marketing business. It's what people say about you that matters. So that starts with the proposition that we talk about in Crown Counsel all the time, which is create a culture of success in your practice. So if your team has not read the textbook for the Crown Counsel called The Culture of Success, that is a must because it lays out the whole foundation for how you create the kind of culture that patients want and feel compelled to talk about. And then number 7 is, we've talked a little bit about reviews today. And number 7 is don't just send out digital requests. Don't just send out an email or a text message asking your patients to leave a review. Ask them face to face to leave a review. And there are specific verbal skills around that, but our recommendation is 2 a day, that you identify at least 2 patients a day to ask for a review. And that is one of those daily disciplines that'll keep those reviews coming in. So frequency matters. So those are 7 of many. And so Stu, there's 21 ideas that we've had just in the last 45 minutes for how to build the marketing effort. And there are a lot more. So Stu, you want to tell everybody what's coming up in April?
You bet. Yeah. So for the 9th time, we are going to gather some of the best minds in dentistry who can teach you. I mean, we've done this for an hour, 45 minutes. If you can see my page, this is the Dental Digital Marketing Conference website. We are going to gather together in Vegas, April 21st and 22nd. And we are going to hear Blake will present, Lane will present, Steve will present. We're doing 2 full days, 2 days of exactly what we talked about today. You can look at the agenda here, but we are packing this opportunity for maybe the doctor and a team member to come together and put together a marketing plan for your practice with absolutely the best in dentistry to help you prepare that marketing. So we would love anybody that is listening to join us. Anyone who is interested in jumpstarting their own practices, marketing campaign, this is the place to do it. And we're in Vegas, right? Is that
yeah, even
Blake,
better.
Go ahead, Blake. Anything that I know that you've been involved, obviously the same here with the Dental Digital Marketing Conference. Anything that you'd want to share about what's going to happen when we gather together?
Yeah, it really is a fun conference. I mean, we find, again, like Stuart said, the best minds in dentistry and marketing to present and try to cover the most trending topics and the things you need to know now in this year in 2023. So every year it's so different, the content that we present, and you get 12 CE credit hours. So we know you already need CE, so might as well do it in Vegas, right?
Yeah, that's right. Steve, you mentioned last week when we talked about this, who should come? And I think you had some great advice there.
Clearly, dentists ought to be in attendance and key team members. So as I mentioned, somebody needs to drive the effort beyond the dentist. So I would have a key team member or team members that are going to drive the entire marketing effort. So recommendation would be a minimum of 2 people from your practice and more that are going to construct, fine tune, and then drive the whole marketing effort.
Very cool. You can see my QR code here. Does that come up okay? So this
Yes.
QR code will take you to the registration form for the DDMC. It'll take you to the website and all the information that we just shared to join us. And we would love to have this group big. There's room for everybody to be here and to share, not only to learn, but also to share some of the best practices that you are doing to make your practice grow and to grow patients. So very good.
And the rooms are cheap too through our link. I think it's $45 for one night and $145 for the second night. So
What a bargain.
bargain.
Wow.
Planet Hollywood Hotel.
Hard to
Are we
beat that.
Are we putting teams together? People we don't know, they're going to have to uncover rooms. Very cool.
We should.
Very good. All righty. Well, that's us for the day. I'm super grateful for everybody that's joined us. Thankful for Blake, Lane, Steve, for everything that you shared, and obviously more to come at DDMC if today was interesting to you and you learned a lot. So any concluding remarks, anybody?
Come see us. Be in Vegas.
Yep.
Book it now.
All righty.
Great opportunity.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank
see ya.
you.
Take care.
Bye.